Oh, there we go. Oh, check. Sorry about that, folks. I accidentally tripped on my microphone a moment ago. And I was like, why does this look like I've got no audio? So, my bad. All right, we should be good to go now. You guys should be picking me up on Discord and on YouTube. I hope everybody is doing well this morning. All right, let's dig in. Sorry for the little brief technical glitch there. I knocked my microphone off my desk, and I guess when it fell off, it uh, triggered that little mute button. I was like, why does it look like I've got no audio? All right, so anyway, let's get into it. Let's start off by taking a look at how things are looking here with ES. That'll kind of give us some direction and some guidance as far as how we want to sort of lean, whether we want to be a little bit more bullish or bearish as we look for entries across the market. So we're going to start off with that. Then we'll do our trade plan reviews for the member selected trade plans that I posted yesterday morning. Apologies, I didn't get those out Sunday evening as I anticipated. I had family in town and took them all out to dinner Sunday night, and we just wound up being out way later than I thought. So anyway, that being said, let's get into it. So what we're seeing here on ES, things kind of continue to look pretty strong, pretty bullish to me. We've cleared out this supply zone overhead. I've left these on here so we could kind of go over these. You'll notice that we're now broken above, and it looks like we're finding support on the top side of the supply zone. It's technically still intact and could remain intact because it is a daily supply zone. And we closed this candle right on it. We didn't really close above or through it. It does look like we are trying to break over it, though. I would expect if that does happen that we'll try to continue on and probably test or retest the current all-time highs on ES around 57.17. So just be prepared to catch more upside here as this pushes further. We are seeing a little bit of resistance around this, what is that, 56.40 level. So just, I would maybe wait for that to break as we're seeing that be tested this morning and find some resistance there. But overall, Neptune's looking pretty bullish across most time frames. Things are trending to the upside. Dips are being bought. This all looks very bullish at the moment. So that being said, we are getting into some areas of potential resistance. So keep that stuff in mind. We do have a small window of opportunity up overhead before we get into that next supply zone over 56.66. Things really kind of open up to the upside, I think. And that's when we, I think, have a better shot at making a run at current all-time highs. So with that being said, what's up, Navy Plum? Good morning to you. What's up, everybody in YouTube? Good to see you all here. All right, so let's dig into our member selected trade plans. We'll do some reviews there. And then if you guys have ticker requests for plans that you want to work on live here pre-market, please start dropping those in the chats. I see Ryan Brown already in the mix with QQQ and unknown reviews with TOL. I have a feeling TOL has TOL. I don't know that one. That's a new one. I'm sure they have earnings coming up, though. The unknown reviews play. So if you guys have ticker requests, feel free to drop those in the chat. What's up, Simp God? Good morning to you as well. All right, so member selected tickers from over the weekend. NVIDIA was the hot ticket of the weekend. Everybody anticipating big things from their earnings report coming up in 8 days here. So we're watching NVIDIA kind of get this lead up, front run kind of move going into earnings here, with everybody anticipating that will be a big moment for NVIDIA and the markets in general. So we had, oops, didn't mean to move that. We had our plan in place to take calls over 126.51 to play for upside targets. You'll see that well, a couple things actually I want to kind of mention here with NVIDIA in particular. Nice dip down into the NTS buying pressure, but even if you don't have Neptune, everybody can put the 200 and the 333 SMA on their charts. Also, and I know we've talked about this in the past, kind of if you've ever seen like an EMA cloud type setup, you can kind of think about these SMAs in a similar way, where you can think about, as long as these are bullish, right, the 200 is over the 333, you want to kind of think about all this space, and I know drawing it in red's probably not the best thing to do because I'm going to say it's buying pressure, but overall you want to think about that space, right? All of that is buying pressure with sort of two key points of buying pressure with the where the 200 and the 333 are sitting at specifically. Hang on one sec. Sorry about that. We were talking about, whoops, moved my, there we go. Sorry. All right, so we're looking at NVIDIA here. Did you guys lose my screen? Okay, there we go. Sorry about this. All right, had somebody pop in on me real quick, unexpectedly. We are looking at NVIDIA. Again, we're talking about this buy pressure here between the 200 and the 333 SMAs. We had a dip down into that. Let me get this out of the way so we can continue talking about that. Dip down into that, also key buying pressure there on Neptune, but there we get our break over, caught this key level there at 127.65, but then we get our back test, right? Those back test entries are fantastic opportunities to jump into these trades and catch the full move to the upside. And what happened after we got that back test, also catching that nice buying pressure area there on Neptune, push from there to PT1. And looks like it's trying to break over PT1 and flip that to support here pre-market. I would like to see it get over this 129.77. That's another interesting level, but I think it should get over that and start pushing for PT2 there at 131.06. So congrats if you guys picked up that entry right there. That is a beautiful back test, double bottom there on the 5-minute off that key level there at 126.51, continuing higher. NVIDIA plan playing out beautifully. Neptune showing some really great opportunities there as well. AMD, this is another one that we did over the weekend, another interesting setup. Let's take a look at this on the 15-minute as well. Drop down, caught support right there at the key support, which below which we would have been looking to take puts there at 148.25. Didn't get a confirmed break below that. Instead, it held as support, ran up, topped out a little bit there at our call entry key resistance, broke above and is pushing higher, has gotten to PT1 here pre-market and now testing PT2. So if you're in this NVIDIA trade plan, definitely make sure that you're scaling some out at the open, hold runners for a potential shot at PT3 up there at 161.07, but another one that broke out and looks like it's moving really nicely, along with really most semiconductors. Could be a little bit of NVIDIA sympathy going on here with AMD as well. And then last but not least, Nike. This one was kind of is still sort of in no man's land in my opinion. I gave it sort of a wide range before we want to get into any entries here, just because there's potential issues really anywhere in this space with, I think, a clean move either to the upside or the downside. So keep Nike on watch. This one is yet to play out. Plans were posted on my Twitter profile as well as in the options watch list if you need to go back and check those so you can set up your charts, get your alerts ready, and be prepared to take action when the time comes. All right. We did have a couple actually, and I forgot to get those queued up. What trade plans do we do Thursday? We haven't taken a look at those. I know I post them there. Let's see, where's our live stream plans? We did AMAT and TSM. Okay, so let's take a look at those real quick so we can recap those, and then we'll get to these new trade plans and get this knocked out. All right, so we did Applied Materials and Taiwan Semiconductor. Trading view kind of slow this morning. All right, TSM. Okay, so we'll start with TSM and then we'll go back to applied materials. So let's see. TSM kind of has been moving a little bit weird. It's kind of topped out at a strange spot, in my opinion. Broke out, definitely gave us what looked like a good back test. Tried to push off of that, but then it just keeps kind of topping out at this same spot. Hasn't invalidated to the downside. Big dip there yesterday, going into the open, but does seem to be recovering. Never broke below the stop loss average down. This is why we give our trades plenty of time when we're taking these swing contracts, especially. Back over the 200 and the 333. I mean, it looks like it wants to go. It's just kind of stalling out here. So I think if NVIDIA gets going, semiconductors start moving, this should break free of whatever resistance that I am just missing here. And, you know, again, I've totally possible that I've just missed a key level here. But should get through that, I think, and make a push for that 178.51 target. So keep this one on watch. The plan is still in effect. So just kind of disappointing that it hasn't made a cleaner move to the upside, but that's trading, right? Not everything's directly makes easy moves in your favor right away. All right, so we also did applied materials. This one broke out to the upside. This would have been last Thursday. Let me adjust this a little bit. All right, so broke out to the upside, back tested, pushed higher. Now we did get in the after hours session some tests up near PT1. Again, that can be the tricky part of swinging options overnight. We've talked about this a lot. It can hit your targets and then reverse, because that's why we've got these targets in place, right? These are potential spots where, okay, we're catching upside, but the price could hit this and reject. Sure enough, it did. Kind of a, you know, throughout some pretty wild wick action there. There's also an earnings report involved there, so that's maybe the other part of the challenge here. So I'm guessing this was an unknown reviews request. I would have to bet. But broke out to the upside, got to PT1, reported, or during that earnings report, dropped back down. Looks like it caught pretty decent support there at the put entry. Never really broke to the downside, and it looks like it's trying to make another push to the upside, this time with earnings out of the way though. So look for some back tests and some support on this one at 209.35. Could be an interesting one to watch at the open to see if that holds. If it does, could look for a buy the dip entry off that 209.35. Start playing for your upside targets there at 213.62, 219.56, and 225.09 with a stop loss average down at 205.33. So those are our trade plan recaps. We've got about 30 minutes left. Let's dig into some new trade plans. I've got Ryan Brown in the mix bright and early here with QQQ. Let's see if we can't put together a QQQ plan. I get asked for these all the time. Can you do a daily QQQ plan? One of these days I'll find I'll break my I guess my habit of just being so SPY focused and switch over to QQQ, but SPY's treated me so well over the years, so it's hard to walk away or put too much focus anywhere else, I guess. All right, so let's take a look at QQQ and what we want to do with this one. Get a few different perspectives on it as far as looking through a few different time frames here. Let's get some extra screen real estate there. All right, so interesting resistance coming up here at 483.49. Go as tight as the 5 minute. I want to see. All right, so there is still also That's a sketchy little wick right there on that 815 candle. That might constitute a gap fill there, actually. So I'm not going to play that as a gap, but I am going to keep an eye on this level, though. That's going to be an interesting one to watch as a price target, I think. So what I'm thinking, or what I'm looking at, there's another level here that we're going to want to watch as a stop loss average down. I think what we're looking for, that's an interesting rejection there. Let me just go back and look at this one level here. Haven't spent a lot of time up in this range. There is something there, though. So I think what we're looking at is something like this. We'll make this price target. Entry here. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you, brother. How are you? Hope all is well. Then I want to take a shot at this 490.24. I know that's a big leap there, but I think that there's room. Although, actually, you know what? I'm going to drop this down a little bit. 489.46. And then the other level, I'd actually shoot a little bit more conservative there. We won't use that. But I like that. Set up for QQQ to the upside, to the downside. Let's see. Already I was looking at that 475.23. We've seen some nice rejections off of that. But I think it could. All right, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So that's where it gets pretty interesting for possible continuation down. Definitely giving this quite a bit of room before we jump into a downside trade, because again, things are looking pretty bullish at the moment. We could have a little bit of a, yeah, there's a level there that we're going to want to pay attention to, make sure we're taking some profit there. Second target there at 467.93. Yeah, I would say third target here at 464.58. All right, let's get this situated to where it's a little bit easier to see. Get rid of that little bit of a distraction there. All right, so this is our upside trade plan. Downside trade plan. All right, let's go. Get that situated just like that. Okay. And get this posted over in the options watch list. Actually, you know what? Yeah, because watch list is a little bit more visible. Sorry. I was going to post it in the, well, I'll post it in the chat too. Why not? Make it easy for everybody. All right. So what are we looking for here on QQQ as we head into the trading day today? We're looking for a break over 483.49. That should give us targets at 485.90, 489.46, and 493.08 with a stop loss average down at 481.28. To the downside, we're waiting for a break below 473.71. That should give us targets at 471.33, 467.93, and 464.58 with a stop loss average down at 476.31. Those are your QQQ trade plans. Go get them. All right. Well, thank you, Endemic. I appreciate it. You got to be the only person who's ever described my voice as soothing. I personally hate the sound of my own voice. I can't even watch my own recordings. All right, let's go. Let's. I think that's everybody though, right? Everybody has that tick. So this is, what was it again? Toll Brothers? What is Toll Brothers? Consumer durables. Design, building, marketing, financing, detached and attached homes. So they're a home builder. Okay. I am not familiar with this one at all. Low volume, so be very careful with options. Make sure you have a ton of time on your options contracts, because low volume means it can stagnate, not really move. It could also mean that the options chain is not very liquid. So if you're going to go after this with options, be careful. Not only that, but there's earnings report as well coming up. They are making parabolic moves though at Toll Brothers. Yeah, this is a new one, so congrats on known reviews. I don't get a lot of like, I've never heard of this before, and I don't know what this company is, and I don't get those a lot. So always good to get kind of a new ticker in the mix. All right, let's get after it. Let's get a little bit of a, just need to get my bearings a little bit before start jumping into trade plans. This has been a pretty, like I said, parabolic move. There's probably not going to be a ton of levels established, especially on these higher time frames. We're probably going to need to fast forward into some small time frames here in just a moment. This is an interesting bottom there, but not a weekly level. Nothing confirmed there yet. Same thing here. Well, we will want to pay attention to that being the current weekly all-time high. All right. I'm going to assume that this is one, just based on it being low volume, that extended hours is not going to be super helpful. Well, let's just check. It does look a little... All right, let's see. So I want to check these levels. Yeah, there is a level here. It's a little bit lower right there. And this one, yeah, I think there's something there as well on the daily. Okay, now that we've cleared that up, let's continue on here. Try to fast forward a little bit or go as fast as I can. But again, we don't want to go into anything unprepared or underprepared. And this is kind of like plotting out the roadmap to telling the story of what we're going to do here with Toll Brothers. All right. Interesting level there. 4 hour. Same thing with this level. Yeah, there's something right about here. There we go. And here. Okay. I think we're pretty close. The other thing we're going to need, almost certainly, is going to be some fib extensions. Okay. All right, so the other thing I want to do, like I said, get some fib extensions in place. This is actually sitting right there. All right. This will be the last thing, and then we'll be ready for the plan. We'll fill in the blanks as we need to, as we forward here. That looks pretty much like where we started this trend. So yeah, it's gonna sit right there. I like it. Okay, so probably only gonna need one of these fib extensions, but go ahead and mark a few. All right, so let's get over to, sorry, just fix this real quick. All right, so let's get over to the, oh, we're on the hourly. Let's throw this on. Okay, what do we want to do with Toll Brothers? Again, earnings, what, after hours or pre-market tomorrow, after hours today. So be mindful of that. I think it looks like it wants to make a move, though, over that 137.41 level. And over that, I think it is just 1, 2, 3. We wind up not needing those fib extensions, but good to have them in place anyway. Somewhat of a tight stop loss, but I think appropriately tight. It's also just where there's a key level there that if we're back below it, if we get over 137.41, that should act as support. If it doesn't, I'd be very concerned that I'm not in the right trade. So we'll leave that there. Downside does get interesting below this weekly level. That would be a key one to break. It almost looks like it would want to go for 126.14, but with this being low volume, I'd want to be a little bit more aggressive than usual, scaling out. I'm going to go with that 128.60 daily level, PT1, ultimate target down here, PT3 at 123.02. Stop loss average down. Do we share it with the upside trade plan, or is there a better one that we could put in place? Is the only question I have left. Or not. Yeah, we will. Well, that kind of makes me want to leave it where it's at. Yeah, it's a large risk area on this downside plan, so just keep that in mind. I think it's appropriate. Make sure that you save plenty of dry powder to average down on this one, because that may be necessary if there's some kind of a bait and switch or a trap that takes place below 132.17. But I just think if I cut this, the other level I'm considering is this 134.04, but it seems like the stronger resistance is at that 135.47 level, and I wouldn't want to get stopped out prematurely of a plan that's still valid and we could salvage with that stop loss average down. So, just some caveats there as far as how you might want to build a position in this one versus kind of just jumping full in, especially on the downside plan. Upside plan looks pretty good on the risk reward side of things for starting off with, I would say, a fairly, close to your regular full position side. Well, except for that it's an earnings report after hours. So keep that in mind. I would say overall, keep these lotto size trades if you're going to swing anything. All right, so let's talk about the plans. This is whole. All right. Puts that here. The options watch list. So, what are we looking for here on Toll Brothers? We're looking for a break over 137.41. That should give us targets at 140.65, 143.97, and 146.71. Current all-time high with a stop loss average down at 135.47. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 132.17. That should give us targets at 128.60, 126.14, and 123.02 with a stop loss average down shared with the upside trade plan at 135.47. Again, be careful swinging these overnight with earnings taking place after hours today. Also, be very careful about building this downside position just with the larger risk zone that we've got to give that. Looks like it's about a 1-to-1, maybe slightly better than 1-to-1 risk reward. So, generally speaking, we want those numbers to skew more heavily in our favor. All right. What other ticker requests do we have? Those are the first two I saw come into the chat. I thought I saw somebody wanted thoughts on Tesla. Okay. Let's take a look at Tesla. I haven't looked at Tesla in a little while. Let me clean up this chart real quick. Those are old trade plans. Those are some additional levels that I added at some point. Okay, that looks better. So Tesla's been on a pretty good run. I feel like I've got this daily level just a little bit high. I think it really sits probably right there. So what I'm looking at, let's see this recent price action as well. Rejecting that 226.64 level. Found some support there previously a couple of times. Yeah, okay, so I think what we would do with Tesla is we'd wait for this 229.65 to break. That gives us a stop loss at that 226.64. Gives us the first price target at this weekly resistance, 233.45. Yeah, sorry, I'm debating. I don't want to get too greedy. It just kind of looks like a weak ass rejection there, though. I mean, it rejected pretty well, but it doesn't look. This weekly level kind of looks like the more significant resistance overhead versus that little bit of a top out there. So it's Tesla. Tesla can move, so I'm going to say let's go for it. Third price target to the upside. They're at that 241.39 level. So that's the upside trade plan sorted. Downside. Could get interesting below this level right there. Yeah, it definitely gets interesting below that level right there, actually. So, share the stop loss with the upside plan. First target. Second target. And third target. Boom. Man, we're flying through some trade plans this morning, folks. Hope you guys are keeping up. All right. So I think what I'll do for this one, let's pull these levels out, because this is a lot to try to look through. if you're looking back on this in hindsight or to review it before you take an entry or something. So we'll put it over here on this chart. That's easier to see, right? And let's pop this over to the hourly. There we go. Perfect. Image, copy link. Okay, so here are the Tesla live stream plans. Puts those there and here and everywhere in the options watch list as well. All right, let's talk through these real quick. So for Tesla, we're looking for a break over 229.65. That should give us targets at 233.45, 237.11, and 241.39, with a stop loss average down at 226.64. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 223.13. That should give us targets at 219.59, 216.17, and 212.34. Sharing a stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 226.64. Those are your Tesla live stream plans. Go get them. All right, let's see. Got a little bit more time. Let's see if there's PRE for Fred Dog, Navy Plum. Oh yeah, reminded me of what we did look at. Navy Plum on top of things as always. Leans, Tesla. Yeah, we got you on the Tesla, bro. What is PRE? Prenetics Global Limited. This is another one I've never heard of. And what do? They don't pay dividends. Health Sciences Company, provision of early detection, prevention, and treatment for cancer. Okay, so biotech, pharma-ish maybe. Let's see what the volume is on these. Oof. Crazy low volume. So I would be very careful with this one. Also with that news recently, that's gonna have people unloading bags if they're holding bags or taking profit if they got good entries on this one. Really low volume. If this is optionable, I wouldn't touch options on it because they're not going to be liquid. I mean, your 30-day average volume is 21,000 shares traded. It's like inconsequential volume. Might as well not even trading on this might as well not exist, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Lots of room to recover to the upside. I will say, does look interesting. That little fake out there has me a little bit concerned. We kind of double topped off that. I would say if it can break over that double top, I mean, it's got a shot at moving. I would be, obviously, you're going to play this with shares. Be very careful with this. You could also wind up just sitting on a position that just doesn't move, right? It just kind of stays in this range between 698 and 527. So keep that in mind as well. Could just lock up capital that could be better deployed elsewhere. But I'll give you some key levels, things to watch for sure as you try to approach this one. I also like how this lines up with support and resistance with Neptune. I mean, those would be my upside targets. So this is kind of your quick trade plan on this one, Fred. Over 698, those would be my targets. God knows how long it's going to take to get there, though, so be very careful getting too much money into this trade. Got in at 659. Well, you're not in terrible shape. I mean, you're in the range. I would certainly cut it below 527. And again, this is just it looks like it's just a sideways mover, especially with that low volume. I would just be aggressive about getting my money out of this and redeploy it into something that is going to move and generate profits much sooner. Time is not your friend on this one. So anyway, that's kind of my opinion. A little bit of a trade plan there, but I would say generally speaking, stay away from this at a good kind of maybe teachable moment coming out of this one, Fred. If you're already in this, before you get into any kind of a ticker, or before you get too interested in putting money into a trade on a particular ticker, make sure you're checking the volume, especially that 30-day average volume. I mean, generally, I want to see like a few million shares traded for me to be, confident that it's going to be liquid and be able to make moves. I would say, for shares, I mean, it's got to be in the high hundreds of thousands at least. Anything in the, tens of thousands, just stay the hell away from it. It's my personal suggestion. I mean, unless you're cool with just buying and holding because it's something you believe in and you think there's a FDA approval on the horizon or something like that. I mean, there can be reasons to get into these low volume tickers, but generally speaking, it's best to just stay away from them. So teachable moment there for you, if nothing else. All right, with that, we're getting pretty close to market open. I do have to go work up the daily SPY plan. I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning. We will be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as we always say here on the Xtrades FOMO live streams, plan your trades and trade your plans. Go out there, have a fantastic day. I will see you guys in the chat, and we'll be back here Thursday morning. See you soon. Take care.